continue with the 46th chapter of the book of Yeshayah, chapter Mem Vav. And if you remember, we're in a lot of chapters that really God contrasts with idols who are nothingness, and God is the one who created the world. We have a lot of bara and yotzer and tohu. So here, chapter 46, Kara bel kores nevo hayu atzabeim lachaya v'la behema nesuotechem amusot masa la'ayefa. Bel is bow, nevo is cowering, right? Different gods. Their images are burden for beasts and cattle. The thing you would carry are now piled as a burden on tired beasts. Okay, and one thing we'll see in this chapter that there's a lot of images of carrying. And the Malbim points out there are two types of carrying. Now, so is you carry somebody, you're carrying them willingly. Amus, he says, which is another word, sounds like it's a burden. It's something you do not want to carry. It's not something that you want with you. We'll see that that word is one of the main words repeated over and over again. Again, this image of carrying. So these gods are cowering, not carrying. Karsu, charu yachtav lo yachlu malet masa. They cower, they bow. They can't rescue the burden. V'nafsham b'shvi halacha, and they themselves, b'shvi, shevi is a captive. They were sent into captivity. Okay, so idolatry, again, that's the comparison with idolatry we've had over and over again in these chapters. And Yeshayah says that the idols, the idolatry is not going to be, is not like God. In contrast to that, Shimu Elai Beit Yaakov v'chol she'erit Beit Yisrael. Listen to me, house of Jacob, and those that are left of the house of Israel. We've talked about this over the last number of chapters as well. We've had very often Bnei Yisrael called both the house of Jacob and the house of Israel. I don't know if it's referring to, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, not clear. Ha'amusim mini veten, ha'nisuim mine racham. Those who have been carried since birth, supported since leaving the womb. And here we see those two different words together, right? That amus, which is, again, to carry, and nisuim, nasa, masa, which means also to carry. But the first is more of a burden, right? I carried you, God said, from the womb. But since birth, you've been like an amus. You've been difficult. You haven't been easy to carry. You haven't listened to me. But I'm telling you, I'm still the one who's carried you, as opposed to those other gods. They can't carry anything. They're not alive. They're nothing. Now we have one of the beautiful psukim: V'ad zikna anihu, v'ad seva ani espol, ani asiti v'ani esa, v'ani espol v'amale. Beautiful Jewish song. I don't know if it's Tvekas who wrote the song many years ago. Until you grow old, I will be the same. When you turn gray, which is understood as being even older than old, all of us are gray, we're not so old, I will carry you. I made you, I will bear you. I will carry you, and I will rescue you. You're worried. In the last verse, God said, right, I supported you since the womb, and I've had to carry you since then, and it's been difficult. And you might think that God is done with us. We've been exiled. What's going to happen? So many of our people, so many worries. God says, V'ad zikna nihu. I remain the same. Even as you grow old, I don't grow old. My back doesn't ache, right? My shoulders don't hurt. I can continue to carry you, and I will rescue you. I will carry you. Lama tidmiyuni v'tashvu v'tamshiluni v'nidmeh. Who can you compare me to? Who do you think I'm like? Right? Do I seem comparable to anybody? Hazalim zahav mikis v'chesed b'kana yishkolu, yiskarut soreif v'yasehu el, yiskadu af yishtachavu. Those who, right, what do they do with their gold and with their silver? They take it and they give it to somebody to build a god, which then they bow down to. And right, this has been, again, the theme, one of the things that he's returned to over the last number of chapters. And the best image of it is the guy's got, a bundle of wood. Half the wood he uses to build a god, and the other half he uses to make a fire and to be warm and to cook his dinner. Ridiculous. And that's what he says here. You're wasting your gold. You're wasting your silver. Yisa'uhu al katef yispelu v'yanichu tachtav yamon min komo lo yamish. Af yitzak elav lo ya'aneh. Mitzarato lo yoshianu. Right? Though you made the god, but you're carrying it. The god's not carrying it, you. Right? You put the God down, it can't move. You cry to it can't answer. You beg it to save you. It can't help you in your distress. Zichru zot v'hit o shashu. Hashivu poshim alev. So remember this, keep it close. Take this to your heart, you sinners. Zichru rishonot me'olam, ki anochi el, v'ein od Elohim, ve'efes kamoni. Right? Remember from the days of old, I am the God. There's nobody else. I am the only one who is Elohim, which sometimes means judges and sometimes means God. And in the ancient world, right, some of the judges, people proclaimed that they were deities. There's nobody like me. I'm not comparable. Magid me'reshit acharit. I, from the beginning, tell you what's going to happen, acharit, at the end. Umikedem asher lo na'asu. And from kedem, from the deep history, I tell you what hasn't happened is going to happen. Omer atzati takum v'chol chefzi e'eseh. My plan will be fulfilled. I will do everything that I propose, everything that I desire will happen. Korei mi mizrach hayit me'eretz merchak ish atzati, af dibarti, af aviena yatzarti, af e'esena. I summoned, and this is not clear exactly, I called for a swooping bird, and from the east. From a distant land. I spoke, and what I spoke will happen. I designed it, and it will be completed. Shimu elai abirei lev. So listen to me, those of you who are abirei lev, those of you who don't want to listen, those of you who are stubborn, harichokim mitzdaka, who are far from tzedek. I'll make a point to say something about that in the next, after we're done. We'll translate as now those who are far from victory, those of you who are worried, those of you who are scared, those of you who believe you've been exiled and Bnei Israel have been embarrassed and we've been suffering and you're far from any idea of victory. Keravti tzidkati lo tirchak, utshuati lo te'acher. My victory is close. It's not far. My triumph or my saving will not be delayed. V'natati v'tzion shua liYisrael tifarti. And I will grant salvation, triumph to Israel, my glory. The one who brings tiferet, the one who brings glory to me. And so here too in this chapter, God's saying it's going to come. It's going to come, the great triumph, the great redemption. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time until it does. And just one interesting thing, been talking about the difference of how do we understand this word tzedek. Tzedek has two different meanings. Tzedek can mean righteous. It can mean also, victorious. And it's interesting just to think about it from sort of like different images of a way a person thinks of God. Is God saying to Bnei Israel here and over again, you're going to be victorious. You're going to be victorious. You see, I'm going to be victorious. That's one way of looking at God. God is the victor. History, right? The history is written by the victor. Or does the word tzedek here really mean justice? God is not telling Bnei Israel that they're going to be victorious. God doesn't care about victory. What God cares about is justice. What God cares about is what is right. And just different ways and sort of, I think, very, very different images when we think about God based upon the way that you translate this word. Is God one who's sort of like it says in the Az Yashir Ish Milchama, God is a man, whatever that means, of war? Or is it God is concerned about righteousness, and Bnei Israel have suffered, other people have been horrible, and it's not about victory, it's about righteousness. And I'll do what's righteous to you, and then in time, hopefully, the children of Israel will do what's righteous as well.